with our land acknowledgement. And you all know that the value of that is a step in the right direction towards truth and reconciliation. We sit on the traditional territories of many great Indigenous peoples, all who continue to live as sovereign nations with individual and unique languages. And as a settler with ancestral ties to continental Europe, as a lot of us are, I recognize that many wrongs have been committed by our colonial country and churches that tried to civilize people who were already quite civilized, but we thought we needed to do it better, so we did. And so many people were misguided and have been throughout history. This is not a new thing. When somebody comes to a new land, they attempt to conquer it in all the ways that they do. But personally, I think in this day and age, we can have some civility and we can acknowledge that, the wrongs that have been committed, and we can and should do what we can to acknowledge those things. So that's in part why I like to do the land acknowledgement. But getting back to that, I'd like to take this opportunity to state that this land that we sit on, that's known as Chatham-Kent, was established as part of several treaties, the McKee Purchase Treaty and of 1790. And at the time, the land then was inhabited by Three Fires Confederacy, and that's made up of the Ottawa, the Potawatomi, and the Ojibwa. These Indigenous nations, known as the Anishinaabeg and the Lunapui, agreed to the mutual sharing of the land. They did so much to help the settler settle these lands and be safe. And so, because they were so generous with us, we can be generous with them today. And we do have obligations and responsibilities to the environment that we, as stewards of the land, the air, and the water, share with our First Nations. We also are neighbors to the unceded territory of the Bakajwang, that's Walpole Island First Nation, and the Delaware Nation, and the Caldwell Nation. So Chatham-Kent continues to be home to many diverse First Nations and Métis people, and we all, as beneficiaries of the treaty, agreed to the mutual sharing of these obligations and responsibilities to be privileges of land, the air, the water. And, it's something that is really, really important to me to say, and this is where I think the wisdom that we can learn from is that holding all of this natural world in our highest esteem and giving honor to the wonderment of all things within the creation. And as I mentioned, this land acknowledgement is a first step towards truth and reconciliation to right so many wrongs that were committed as we European settlers attempted to colonize. But I invite you to take a moment to think about this and become informed about First Nations, Indigenous people. There's still so much to be learned and so much to be shared. And I want you to know that I continue to work on the land acknowledgement and improve it. And one day I will share with you something that I feel truly comfortable with, that I feel ticks all the boxes, but I haven't yet had the time to kind of create that. So in my invitation to you tonight, we're going to cover a lot of ground. Of course, I have some poetry for you. I was really having a hard time selecting because so many things seemed appropriate, but I will, I think there's about three. I was able to kind of control myself and get it down to three. And this one, again, by the lovely Donna Ashworth, is called Risk. And life feels pretty risky today. I guess that's why this stood out for me. So risk. Believing tomorrow to be a guarantee is the biggest mistake that we make. Not seizing every day like the gift that it is the biggest risk that we take. Do what makes you happy. Love your loved ones fiercely. Speak up, say the words, do the stuff, ride the waves, head down through the storms, accept the dark, the light will follow. It's all part of it. It's all part of life. It's meant to feel good. It's meant to feel hard. Just feel it all. Believing tomorrow to be a guarantee is the biggest mistake we make. Not seizing every day like the gift that it is the biggest risk that we take. Okay, and then this one. I don't know if I want to read that one first or this one. Let me see. Okay. Worrying, again by Donna Ashworth, and from a book that she wrote called I Wish I Knew, a compilation of many wonderful poems. But this one is about worrying, some really wise words. Worrying is a waste of a really good imagination. And if you believe in the power of your thoughts to create your future, then you are pretty much, quite literally, wishing for the worst outcome. So when the worries are careering around in your head in chaotic disarray, line them up. First in line, what's actually yours to worry about, and not forced upon you by social media and the news, the stuff that doesn't get a place in the line at all. Second in line, the things that you can't do much about today, shelve them. They will wait until tomorrow, and you'll have more clarity by then too. Third in line, the things you cannot change, the mistakes you made, the regrets that you hoard. This part of your queue will wait in line eternally. In fact, if you can eject them out of the space hatch, do it. The space hatch in your brain, do it. They are neither use nor ornament to you. Worry is a waste of a really good imagination. Use yours for something far better. I like that because there's so much happening today that we can do very little about. Although, sometimes. Okay, and this one is called your shoulders because so often with all of the worry and all of the stress and strain and all of the things that we're experiencing, our shoulders are up to here, aren't they? And that creates a lot of tension and suffering. So in this moment, if you notice that your shoulders are up, drop them down, wiggle them around, and yeah, just get comfortable because your shoulders are tired. Your shoulders are weary. Who said you must carry all that? You didn't sign up for it. You didn't volunteer to be the bearer, but still you've come to bear it. And you cannot find a place to lay it down. Your shoulders are tired. Lift them up, let them down, roll them around. Release, release. Now, shake your head from side to side. Feels good. And say no. Sometimes, just sometimes, say no. Because it's the saying no, the letting go, that your shoulders really need. Yeah. And that ties into my message to you guys today, which was, all about things that are happening. And I don't want to get real political about any of this because at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all in this together. We all have different fears and needs and wants. And some people are being quite loud about that. And I want you to understand what I have come to understand about people is that it sounds like and it looks like a lot of anger and demand. But when you really, really look what's beneath that, it's fear. It's fear because they really, truly feel and fear someone is trying to take something from them. And, many, many changes have happened in the last, let's face it, probably the last even 20, 30 years. Many changes have happened in our world. And I personally think that sometimes we can't quite keep up with them. Our brains just aren't really set to do that. And we get exhausted and we get short and we get overwhelmed and we try to keep up, and many things that really, really take its toll on us. And I don't know any solution. Sometimes when people are so fearful, they can't listen. They are fearful to listen. And, I'm not saying it would be a waste of breath. It is important to find your voice, to use your voice. But above all, if you can do that with kindness and respect, even if someone isn't showing you much kindness or respect, I believe that we need to be the change that we want to see. So people are rude sometimes and belligerent sometimes and demanding and aggressive. And we don't have to engage with that. We can stay very, very calm, breathing in the peace and the love that we want and exhaling the peace and the love that we send to them and all living creatures everywhere. But having said that, and there is a but to this, because it's not about letting yourself be abused or standing in the face of, you know, ridiculous threat. It's about having really, really healthy boundaries and letting people know what they are and how that exists. And the Dalai Lama, I wasn't there in person to see this, but I think it was recorded, and I know I've seen him talk like this. And one of my other teachers, I think, was in the audience when he made this comment, but it was really powerful. The Dalai Lama, in case you don't know, is a chosen one who was chosen in a very wonderful way, much the way that Jesus Christ was chosen. The Dalai Lama is usually a child that's born under a significant star, a constellation, and is then, taken from his family at about age 6 or 7, and then educated to become very, very wise. And he's getting quite old now. The next Dalai Lama has been chosen, I'm told, and is being educated and is growing into a fine young man. And that's probably more information than you really need to know about this story, but I get kind of interested in the Dalai Lama. But anyway, he said, this is a very, very peaceful man, right? They live in threat of an oppressor, China. He can't live in the chosen land, his country, because of the threat. He is seen as a huge threat to the communist way of life in China. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into all the political stuff. But he said, and again, very peace-loving man, and he said that if you're walking down the street and a mad dog is coming towards you, and you're going to, be kind and compassionate and, oh, poor mad dog, he's sick, he's ill, and we can understand these things about the mad dog. But if the mad dog is coming towards us and threatening us and getting ready to bite us or harm us in some way, we must protect ourselves. And he thinks it's madness if you don't. So he says, you pick up a big stick and you hit the mad dog, because you've got to protect yourself. And as cruel as that sounds, that's what we have to do. And many, many times we face situations like that. And, hopefully we can resolve them without picking up big sticks. But we must protect ourselves. And we do that by being really clear about what our boundaries are and what we will and won't accept. And I think that we can do that with tremendous compassion and grace and wisdom. And that's what we want, right? So I won't lie. Just about everyone I talk to these days has big fears about our country and the future. You have to protect yourself from that too. We want to know what's going on, but we have to be safe. And that means sometimes we can only listen to what we can listen to and take in so much, and then we've got to do something that is the exact opposite, something that nourishes us. And for me, it's very much a meditation practice and lots of breathing. And I will tell you that just about every patient that I have seen in the last probably 3 weeks has somehow brought in, their worries and their fears about the state of the world and the uncertainty. And I don't have any magical answers. I say what I'm saying to you guys, like we need to be the change as best we can. Hold strong to your values, breathe, be patient, be kind, but above all, protect yourself. So that means, if you can't take any more in, you can't listen to any more news or watch any more news or read anything else, protect yourself. Find things that nourish you. And on that note, let's do what is going to nourish us. And, I think that means that we need to do some breathing. And last week, you guys were real troopers and you did the 5-minute cyclic sighing. And I would like to do that a little bit. We probably won't do 5 minutes of it, but I do think that there's some huge benefit in the polyvagal, right? So the massage of your vagus nerve. So, bear with me, but I like to kind of just start with the top of our heads, really giving that scalp a lovely little massage, letting yourself feel yourself, that you're here, you're there, we're okay, we're okay. And just feel that. And then, placing hands alongside your face like you're a dear one, because you are, and just, whatever soothes. And inevitably, when I do this, I start to rock. I don't know why. Oh, and then I sigh deeply, and we know that creates a wonderful, blood oxygen exchange. Then we're gonna maybe massage our eyebrows, some little rub, little massage of your temples, your cheekbones, your jaw muscles, opening and closing your mouth if that kind of increases the tension and the release. And then even massaging your ears, all around your ears, almost like they're silly putty, just rubbing those ears all around and behind the bony, I think that's the occipital bone back there. And then if you want to slip your hands with a little bit of pressure down the side of your neck, and then coming to rest on your chest with your hands crossed. And then I like to reach up and get those thick muscles that connect your neck and your shoulders. Give a little massage in there. And your shoulders, your arms, hardworking arms. And then just letting your hands drop in your lap, resting. Very nice. And if it serves you, this is a lovely time to take in a deeper cleansing breath. In through your nose, natural filters there, and a nice slow exhale out your mouth. In through your nose again. Slow exhale out your mouth with sound, maybe. They call that ocean breath. And one more. Filling your chest and lungs, and a lovely slow exhale with sound. Seeing if you can create a little bit of vibration in the back of your throat. Nice. And so I do think it's good to have the practice of cyclic sighing. And for those of you, because it looks like there's some folks that weren't here last week, I'll just go over what that looks like again. It's very simple, and this is the beauty of it and why I love it. I don't get lost and then forget where I am. It's just really simple to do. So you breathe in, filling your chest and lungs, and then you take another little, and then a long, slow exhale out your mouth. So let's show that again. So breathe in, filling your chest and lungs, and then another little sip. And then a long, slow exhale out your mouth. So we're going to do 3 minutes of cyclic sighing or breathing, and then we'll carry on with the rest of our meditation practice. So taking some time now, if you'd like, you can close your eyes, but you don't have to. I'll be keeping track of the time on my handy dandy timer here. Just gotta find it. Where is it? Oh, right there. Okay. Okay. So, and let's begin. About 1 minute more. And that's 3 minutes. Now, ideally, a really healthy practice is to do that for 5 minutes. But let's just say you don't have 5 minutes to spare, but maybe you've got 3 minutes, or you can do 3 minutes now and 2 minutes later, and it is cumulative. So if you can get your 5 minutes of cyclic sighing in a day, that would be wonderful for your system, um, because it really does help with heart rate variability. It improves mood and just many, many benefits to it. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. But thanks for doing that with me. Next, I'm going to invite you to notice whatever feelings or sensations you can notice that are happening right now in your body. What's going on in your feet? Can you notice your socks or your footwear or the floor beneath them? Just scanning up from your feet to the top of your head, just to notice any sensations, just helping you to get to know your body better and better. particularly noticing if there's any places of tension or tightness, or maybe there's something else that's showing up. Maybe there's some things that feel stuck in your throat or your belly, or just noticing whatever you can notice that's happening in your body right now, today, March 11, at 7:26. What is going on in your body? Helping you get to know yourself better and better. Why? Why get to know yourself in this way? Why understand your physical sensations and what they represent for you? There's always a thought or a feeling behind a physical sensation. I don't care what it is, there's always something. And it never hurts to sort of help yourself be more aware of that. What are your thoughts doing? We sometimes don't pay attention to that. Like, what's going on in our head? What are the thoughts that we're having? What are we telling ourselves? What are we believing? What are we hearing? What are we paying attention to? And the interesting thing about that is sometimes it feels like we don't have a lot of control over that, but we do. We do. We can bring our focus to all kinds of things that distract us in fun ways, or distract us in interesting ways, or help us to be interested or feel hopeful or peaceful or kind. And that's what you guys are doing right now. You're bringing this peaceful time, all of this nourishment for your mind and your body. You're doing that right now. Give yourself a pat on the back or a little shoulder rub. You're doing that. And every time you pause, even if it's just for a few seconds, to notice what's happening inside. It might not be pleasant. It might be that we're hearing something, or we're seeing something, or we're talking to someone and it's difficult, and it might be really, really hard. What's our inclination? What do we want to do in that moment? Sometimes we just want to run away. We can't. There's always something we can do. Do you know what that is? Take a wild guess. I'll tell you in a minute. You can take a breath. One breath. And in that moment of taking one breath in, there's a whole world of choice, because then that gives us time to decide what, if anything, we want to do next. Sometimes it might be, I need to take another breath in. And sometimes it might be to remain silent, or to walk away, or to take a great deal of risk and say what's in our heart, in our mind. Be very, very clear and protective of ourselves. So asking yourself, what do you need in this moment? And sometimes it truly is to just walk away. But being a human being, being reactive, sometimes we might become defensive or protective, or we might do something that seems harsh, and then I ask you to give yourself some grace and understanding, not to excuse. I mean, genuinely, if you feel afterwards that something was too big or too strong or too much, then you can go and apologize. And that's not weakness, that's wisdom. You can apologize. You can, first and foremost, forgive yourself for your humanness. Because as I mentioned, the Dalai Lama is considered one of the most peaceful, wisest people that walk our earth right now. He's been known to have little temper outbursts when things aren't going his way, or he's rather sleep deprived, or he's just really getting fed up, because he's human. He's human. And that's as good as it gets, my friends. Yeah, we don't need perfection, but we do need humanness and kindness and compassion for ourselves and for everybody else out there who's walking the earth right now. I read some really interesting things about Elon Musk, and again, not to get too political, but I think it's worth knowing who this man is. Very brilliant, brilliant thinker, you know, probably somewhere on the neurodiverse spectrum or continuum. He admits that himself freely, and he's not ashamed of it, nor should he be. Always in his lifetime has been very different. And when he was very young, he was severely bullied and beaten and almost killed by some children who didn't like him and didn't like all of his differences. And I'm sure that those experiences have greatly impacted him. And it can do two things when you experience adversity like that. It can tenderize you or it can toughen you. And, you know, I don't know the man. But when I learned that about his early years and experiences that he had and, you know, this traumatic events that happened to him, it explained a lot for me. And it also allowed me to develop some compassion for him. He also had a pretty, how should I say this, cold father who wasn't very empathic towards him and kind of, you know, told him to get over it and, you know, was very invalidating. And that also caused me to have some compassion for him. And so, what do we do with that information? We pray for him. We pray for him and all of the people that seem to be at odds with some of our own views. And there's really good reasons to do that. And I think you all understand why. Because we need to be what we want for the world. So again, that doesn't mean that we, you know, look the other way or turn the other cheek. We must protect, we must defend ourselves and what we believe to be true and right and just and compassionate and kind. We need to be fierce about those things. And I'm really, really glad that our country is probably, you know, it's been said that we're the politest, kindest country. Canadians are known to be very, very lovely, generous, kind people. We're always apologizing and saying we're sorry and we excuse me, please, thank you, da 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 da. And that's the as the story goes. I think it's true. But you know, we're also very fierce and we are going to stand strong, aren't we? Yeah. And so, elbows up, right? Yeah. Okay. But that doesn't mean that we can't pray for peace and that we can't be kind. And I guess I'm going to share this with you. I'm surprised at how emotional I'm being about all this, but it's been a hard week. So I'm going to give myself some grace and accept that, you know, yeah, it's hard. And you don't have to join me there if you're not feeling this way. And I apologize to you if this triggers you in any way, but I'm human too. So anyway, let's uh let's do something else to help ourselves feel some freedom from things that are heavy or hard or difficult. And it started with the whole body awareness thing. So hopefully you still have some of that, but just scanning through your body right now. And for me, because my heart feels really heavy and it feels like there's something stuck in my throat, I'm going to bring some love and care and kindness to that part of my body. And if you notice any place that's feeling particularly tense or tight, you know, you can place hands there too if you'd like. And what I'm going to invite you to do, and you can do this two ways. You can tense and release and imagine kind of flushing out the tension, or you can you can soften, just sink into that and give yourself grace and warmth and just feel the warmth of your hands and breathe with it. And with every breath in and exhalation out, you're flushing out what's difficult. You're flushing out what's difficult. So you can tense and release the difficult, or you can just be the warmth and the comfort. And then with every breath out, imagine, visualize breathing out whatever's heavy or tense or tight. And again, pay particular attention to where your shoulders are. If they're kind of rising up, then drop them down and breathe with that. So I'm just going to invite you. I mean, I know that I've got some particular work to do here, but I'm going to kind of go through this with you by inviting you to notice your feet and any tension or tightness there. And you can either out tension that tension by scrunching up your feet, or you can soften. You can soften. And all I invite you to do if you're tensing and releasing is to do just that. Tense. And if you don't want to tense, you can sink into the warmth and release and soften. And then with breath, imagine releasing any tension or tightness, or imagine letting any difficult or tension or tightness melt away on the flow of your breath. So let's try that again, this time with our shins and our calves. And again, you have the choice to soften, 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 or you can do the tense. So tensing those shins and calf muscles, or else sinking in very gently. Breathing in, and you can release and flush out anything that's uncomfortable or difficult, and just imagine it flowing down the length of your legs and out the tips of your toes, releasing with each breath out. And the next area that I'd like you to bring focus to is your upper legs, the large muscles and bones. And you can either tense up, or as I said, or you can just soften, whatever works for you. I'm going to invite you to do whatever is working for you, whether it's tension or softening. And we just do that now, and in your mind's eye, visualizing a lovely cleansing breath in, and visualizing it just like a broom sweeping or releasing from your body anything tense, tight, heavy, or anything that you need to let go and release. And then we're going to do our sit bones. And again, really connecting with the surface that you're sitting on and almost melting into that surface if that visualization serves you. Or you can do the opposite. You can tense up and get ready to release any tension or tightness, anything that's no longer serving you. Do whatever works for you. Breathing in. And as you exhale, letting go and releasing in the way that your body needs, letting go of any tension or tightness that you've been holding on to, letting go, releasing, releasing. And then you can bring some awareness now to your belly. A lot of folks are holding tension and tightness in their belly and their low back, so sort of center part of your body. And again, you can allow that to be soft, or you can tense it up, whatever way of releasing works for you. Going ahead and taking a breath in and letting go of any tension or tightness, or allowing anything to kind of just melt away. Whatever way works for you, just letting it go with each breath in. And as you exhale, you release and let go. As I invite you to bring awareness now to your heart center. And this is something that in my body anyway is needing quite a little bit of care and attention. And so I'm going to just be with it and gently hold the feelings that are there. And I'm going to breathe in And as I exhale, I'm going to imagine all that heaviness just floating down the length of my body and all the way down my legs and out my toes. And I'm going to do that again. Breathing out any tension, any tightness, any heaviness, any sadness, whatever. Letting go, letting go. And how's that feeling for you? Now we can bring awareness to our shoulders, but it's helpful to kind of do your fists and your arms at the same time. So go ahead and scrunch up your shoulders if this tension thing works for you. If not, then just bring your awareness to your shoulders and your arms, and you can imagine it as a heavy warmth, golden heavy warmth that can feel soothing if that works. Or if you're like me and you prefer to tense it all up, could do any mixture of the two as well. So, in this moment, I'm tensing up my shoulders and I'm scrunching up my fists and really bringing a lot of tension and tightness. And I'm going to take a breath in. And as I exhale, I release that tension and tightness. And I imagine just brushing it and flushing it all away outside of my body. And then I'm going to bring in that gentle heaviness that I find really soothing. Sometimes it's a warmth, sometimes it's a little bit of a tingling, whatever it is for you. And I like to imagine that gentle kind of pull of gravity. I'm letting my arms feel very heavy in this moment. But we're not done. We can, as I mentioned to you, it feels like there's something kind of stuck in my throat. Sadness, grief, whatever, I don't know, worry, all of the above. And I can place my hands on my throat and maybe send a message of gentle compassion to myself. Oh, it's been a hard week. It's been a hard week. You can release and let go now. It's okay. It's okay. So I feel the warmth of my hands, and I might want to kind of tense my throat up a bit, and I breathe in. And as I exhale, I let my throat release and soften. And just imagine that all that tension, all that sadness, all that grief is just floating down and away, down the length of my body and away. Or it might kind of want to flow out my fingertips, so down my arms and out my fingertips, and I'm just brushing it away. I'm kind of moving my body in ways that feel like I'm releasing and brushing and flushing it away, away towards the earth, our Mother Nature, the master recycler of all of this negative tension and energy that I'm releasing, that you might be releasing from your body. And it goes to be absorbed by Mother Earth. And she will recycle all of that energy, turning it into something that's growth producing or something that, is so positive and powerful. She takes it all. She takes it all. But we're not done, because our faces can hold a lot of tension and tightness too. Our eyes may be feeling particularly, stressed as they hold back whatever needs to be expressed. Our mouths, our cheeks, our jaws. And so again, you can either do this by softening and feeling a healing softening in your face, or you can decide to tense it all up. Whatever way you decide, you breathe in. And on the exhale, you release and you let go. Release and let go. And then if it serves you, you can bring in the softening, the grace. And if it helps, you can, gently sort of, hold your face as you would a dear one. And now I'm going to invite you to Take in a few more deeper cleansing breaths. So in through your nose, filling your chest and lungs, and then releasing, breathing out. And the last leftover bits of anything that's hanging around still that isn't serving you any longer, just releasing. And doing that 2 more times in your own time. And if you need to move your body a little, if you need to kind of adjust your shoulders or give yourself a little shake or move your head, just releasing and letting go. And then bringing some gentle awareness and attention to your body now. Gently scanning through to see how it feels and what you're able to notice. And not that you're supposed to feel anything, but I don't mind sharing with you. I feel a little like a wrung out dishcloth. Like I feel like, okay, I've done some work here and released. And I feel lighter. And if you don't, that's okay. We don't want to try too hard. We just want to try and see how this feels and practice. Because there's really nothing we're supposed to do except keep learning and growing and experiencing. And that's it. So the fact that you might have done all this and nothing really changed for you, that's really not a problem. It just means we need to figure out what will bring you some relief. And that might be a warm bath or a funny movie to watch or something that makes you laugh, going for a walk outside, whatever it is. It's so important to nourish yourself now more than ever. So breathing in, and as you breathe in, noticing your amazing body, whatever is there to be noticed. Maybe in this moment, expressing a little bit of gratitude as well. This amazing body that works so hard to keep you alive and functioning and thinking and doing and breathing and everything. Moment of gratitude. I'm going to invite you to think of 2 more things right now. I'll repeat. Right now, I am grateful for, and you fill in the blank. And one more time. Right now, in this moment, I am grateful for, and you fill in the blank. So we know that you're grateful for your body, and hopefully you were able to come up with 2 other things that you feel grateful for. And I'll share with you, mine was for all of you here tonight. And the second thing was for the beautiful day that it was that I got to experience today. Like that. Like that. I'd like to invite you to enjoy a bit of silence now to reflect on all the work that you just did with your body, your mind. Let's take about 3 minutes of clock time, and I'll keep track of that for us. Breathing and reflecting and just being. feeling, noticing this moment of awareness. One more minute. Very nice. You guys are doing so well. If you need to adjust posture, by all means, take care of yourself. No one else is going to, right? Ah, of course, we need to end our evening with a loving kindness meditation. And I found an oldie but a good one that I haven't seen for a while. And I really like it. They're just ever so slightly different from the loving kindness that we usually do together. You'll notice that. And I think most of you have done loving kindness meditation before, but it's worth repeating that we repeat the intentions 3 times. And sometimes I offer a little bit of a longer explanation. You don't have to repeat all that. You just repeat the short part, whatever's meaningful for you. So I'm going to invite you to take a lovely breath in and out as you feel kind of anchored to this moment. And I like to start our loving kindness meditations. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be happy and healthy and loved. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be happy, healthy, and loved. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be happy, healthy, and loved. And we take a breath in, and as we exhale, we imagine the power of that loving, kind intention that travels outside of our bodies and into the rooms that we're sitting into and into our communities. Just like that. And the next loving, kind intention that I'd like to offer you and myself goes like this. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be safe and protected. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be safe and protected. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be safe and protected. Breathing in lovely and deep. And as you exhale, sending that loving, kind intention into the world from your heart and mind to the hearts and minds of people everywhere, everywhere. And the next loving, kind intention that I'd like to offer tonight goes like this. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be alive and free. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be alive and free. May all beings everywhere, including myself, be alive and free. Free from pain, free from suffering, free from fear. Breathing in very deeply. And as you exhale, letting go, releasing that powerful, loving, kind intention into this world, imagining it like an arid ground that's absorbing a much needed rain, the nourishment of our loving, kind intentions. And the last loving, kind intention that I'd like to offer you tonight goes like this. May all beings everywhere, including myself, experience inner peace and ease. May all beings everywhere, including myself, experience inner peace and ease. May all beings everywhere, including myself, experience inner peace and ease. And we breathe in, and with all the strength and goodness in our hearts, we release that loving, kind intention, sending it out into the world to all beings everywhere. May all beings everywhere experience this inner peace, contentment, and joy. And that's my wish for you, my friends, tonight. It was really lovely to practice with you. Namaste, all of you. I look at your names. Some of you I know what you look like, some of you I don't. But in my mind, you're holding you very closely. So be very, very kind to yourself first and anyone else that needs it too, which is to say all of us. All right, my friends, good night.